Renter was a year-old delinquent with scary looks who studies in a school full of dumb delinquents. However, his life suddenly changes when he falls for a cute girl from the elite private school next door where everyone hates delinquents like him. The story starts with two delinquents cornering three high school students in the city, blaming them for bumping into them. The redhead tries to explain that they were the ones who bumped into him, but it turns out that the delinquents are doing this on purpose because they have beef with the student's tall blonde friend who scared their junior. The redhead immediately realizes that they are talking about Renterero, and he tells the delinquents to talk to him if they want. And just then the guy himself arrives. There, as the delinquents turn back to face him, they crap their pants on. Seeing his scary face, Renter just asks him if his friends were bothering them so that he can apologize on their behalf. But the delinquents run as fast as my father when he heard about my birth. Renter then turns to his friends and tells them to stop bothering people. And the redhead Uzami lashes at him, saying that they were the victims here. Uzami then says that it is all his fault for scaring their junior. And as they head to school, Renter realizes the reason behind the problem. He reveals that last night he saw a guy getting dumped and slapped by his girlfriend, and he felt bad for him. He tried to comfort him, but seeing his face must have scared him instead, and he ran away instantly. Well, Renter's friends totally understand the boy's reaction because everyone would be scared to see his menacing face at night. Just then, they come across some girls from the neighboring Kiko private school going to their classes. The girls give a look of extreme disgust and disappointment as they see Renter and his friends simply because they are from a neighboring Chidori High School where only delinquents study. One of them drops her handkerchief and Uzami picks it up to return it to her. But the girl coldly tells him that he can throw it away because she has lost all desire to use it again after he touched it with his dirty hands. Well, Uzami is Dolu's last boss, and he just says that the girls must be flustered by his good looks, even though he knows that the princess complex girls from Kiko want nothing to do with the idiots at Chidori. Renter is also aware of how intensely the girls from Kiko hate their school, and because of that, they have put curtains in all their classrooms so that the boys can't see them. However, he doesn't really care because people like him aren't going to deal with the rich girls that study there even after graduation. After school, Renter runs home in rain because he has to help out at his family's cake shop. He asks his mom if she is sure that she wants a scary guy like him to greet the customers, and she tells him that they only have one customer right now, and more won't come in the rain. She leaves the shop with that, and Renter heads to the counter thinking about how he has never mentioned his family's cake business to anyone at school. He then decides to check on the only customer they have right now, and he is shocked to see a cute petite girl who has just eaten a full family serving of cakes. The girl turns red as soon as she sees Renter, and he immediately fetches her a glass of water. He then starts wondering where did all that food go, but the girl gets nervous and runs away in a hurry, and Renter thinks he scared her away. Later, he talks with his mom about the incident, who reveals that the girl Koru is a regular at their shop, and they have become good friends as well. Renter apologizes in case she doesn't return to the shop after he scared her today, but his mom believes that Sayuru isn't that type of girl. She also tells her son to stop blaming himself for everything, but that doesn't really help much, and Renter is gloomy about the incident. Even the next day, his friends see that something is bothering him and try talking about it, but he tells them that everything is fine, keeping up a certain distance between them. Later that day, as Renter is reading manga in his room, his mom comes running there to inform him that Sayuru is there at the shop and she wants to see him. Renter goes downstairs to meet her and apologize for his behavior, but he is stunned speechless when Kaoru nervously offers to treat him to a cake slice. He can't process what is happening even when they are sitting at the same table. And then Kaoru apologizes for running away on seeing him yesterday. She asks him to consider the cake as her apology, but Renter sees that she is literally drooling while staring at the slice, and he asks her to eat it instead. Kaoru can't resist the temptation and starts eating the cake. And once she is finished, she apologizes again. After that, she introduces herself and asks Renter to introduce himself too, and he is curious about why someone as cute as her wants to know more about him. However, Kara mumbles that she finally knows his name now, and he asks her what she means by that. She gets flustered as she explains that she saw him helping around the shop sometimes, so she was curious about him. Renter is taken aback at this because he doesn't remember seeing her, but then Saru, didn't run away because she was scared. He asks her about it, at her like that before, and she was too shy to face him. She starts blushing again, and Renter can't believe that his face can make a person feel another emotion besides fear. As he takes another look at Kyoru's blushing face, he starts blushing himself and panics. He tells her that it is too dark already, and he will walk her to the station, but Saru says that she needs to buy some more cake first. Ultimately, she refuses his offer to walk her to the station, saying that it is nearby. She begins to walk away, leaving Renter completely blank, but then turns around to tell him that she has never found him scary. However, neither of them notice the two delinquents from earlier who were watching the entire thing, and they decide to get their revenge against. Meanwhile, Renter runs straight to his room and bundles himself up in front of the door. For as far as he can remember, people have been scared of him. So when Kaoru told him that she didn't find him scary, it was a life-altering moment for him. Just then, his mom slams open his door, hitting him in the head. Renter is about to throw a tantrum, but then his mom shows him the cake that Kaoru just bought. She tells him that she found it outside in the street when she was closing the shop and feels that Saru must be in some sort of danger. Renter immediately runs outside to see if she is safe, unaware that the delinquents have cornered her in a dark alley. They keep trying to get closer to her, and Kaoru can only nervously tell them to get away. Meanwhile, Renter is starting to panic because he can't find Kaoru, when suddenly he hears the voice of the delinquents. He goes to their location and finds them asking Kaoru if she is dating Renter. She refuses, and they tell her that it is obvious because no girl will want to go out with a scary delinquent like him. They begin telling her about how Renter has been scary ever since he was in middle school, and they have heard from his former classmates that he is not a good person. They even tell her that he goes to a school for dumb people now and has a bunch of lackey there as well. Renter just silently hears it all because he can't deny that his school is full of dumb delinquents. He accepts the fact that he was always scary, and there is no way he can stop people from spreading bad rumors about him. However, Kira tells the delinquents that Renero is not a scary person and they shouldn't judge him from baseless gossip. She asks if they have even tried to talk to him properly because he is a nice guy, but they tell her that there is no point in that. Saru tells them that it is fine if they don't want to talk with Renter, but they should stop talking about him behind his back. This makes the thugs angry, and one of them says that he doesn't care about getting back at Renter anymore because he wants to punish her first. He throws a punch at Saru, but Renter immediately rushes in to protect her, taking the punch and hitting his head against the shutter. Because of the impact, he starts bleeding and then turns to the delinquents, asking if they have business with him. Seeing the rage in his eyes is enough to make the delinquents run away as fast as they can. And then suddenly, Kiro rushes towards Renter, trying to wipe blood off his face. She apologizes while looking really concerned and hurt that he got injured because of her. But Renter tells her that it is not her fault. He could have stopped the punch if he wanted, but he wanted to take it as a punishment for not believing her when she told him that he was not scary. He apologizes to her for not trusting her when she was so sincere earlier, and also for putting someone as nice as her through a scary experience. In response, Kaoru just says that she can't see why people think a kind person like him is scary, and Renter feels his past trauma from being judged about his looks melting away. He then walks Kaoru to the station, telling her to be careful on the way. She thanks him for saving her, and then, as he is heading back, she yells that she will come to the shop again soon, and they should have cake together. Then, Renter heads home with that, and Saru can only think about the moment he hugged her while protecting her. The next day, Renter reaches school really early because he couldn't sleep last night, wondering when he will meet Kaoru again. He starts staring at Kiko. School's building out of boredom. When he notices someone opening the curtain, he is curious about it because he has never seen those curtains open. But as soon as he sees Kaoru's face behind the window, he panics and pulls the curtains of his classroom instead, realizing that she is from the school that hates boys. Like him. Soon after that, Yuzami comes to the classroom and he starts sulking in front of Rentorero, who can only ask him what the hell happened. Yuzami throws a tantrum, saying that it is the damned girls from Kiko. He says that they kept glaring at him all the way from home to school, and today he snapped out at them too. He says that he didn't want to join Chidori High in the first place, but just then his other friends, Saku and I, arrive there, saying that no other school would have accepted someone as dumb as him. They agree with Yusami that they don't like Kiko girls, but that is only because they hate them for no reason at all. While they keep talking about Kiko school, Renter Loki zones out. His friends talk about his injury, but he doesn't pay them any mind. But when they ask him if he pulled the curtains, he suddenly snaps back to reality. He realizes that he forgot to put the curtains back in their normal place, but his friends don't mind it. They say that he must have been pissed, staring at the Kiko school building, and in an attempt to overcompensate, Renter gets up and yells that he shut the windows just because the sun was too bright. His friends are taken back by his reaction, but Saku feels that Renter is hiding something because he usually prefers sunlight and warmth. Anyway, the class starts and Renter keeps thinking about Kaoru. He recalls that she looked really shocked when she saw him, and it was rude of him to shut the window in her face. He wonders if she will come to his shop again after learning the truth about him, but he feels that it is better this way because a girl from Kiko would never want to associate with a guy from Chidori in the first place. As the class ends, Yuzami asks Renter to hang out with them, and after confirming that his mom doesn't need any extra workers today, he decides to spend some time with his brothers. They head outside while discussing their plans, but then suddenly stop as they see a huge crowd at the school gate. They join the crowd to know what is happening, and one guy says that a girl from Kiko is waiting outside the gate. As Renter peeks over the crowd and sees Tsaru standing there, he has a panic attack. He wonders why is she here, but then suddenly Yusami goes out to confront her. He is too pissed at Kiko today, and he yells at Kaoru asking, what the hell does she want? She is a bit scared of him, but tells him that she is waiting for someone, and Yuzami gets even more mad at that. Renter immediately steps in to stop him from scaring Kaoru any further, pulling him back by his hood. He apologizes to Tsaru for his friend's rudeness, and she tells him that it is okay. Yuzami, on the other hand, starts sulking that a girl from Kiko is waiting for someone from Chidori, but then he starts crying because he is jealous. Renter is glad that his friend is an idiot who didn't understand that Kaoru is here to see him, but just then two of Kaoru's friends come running to get her. They push Yuzami aside as they ask Kaoru to return to their side, because if she stays here, the stupidity of the Chidori boys will infect her too. The girls from Tsaru's friends pull her back to their school, refusing to listen to her explanations. Yuzami tries to stop them, asking the girls to apologize for bumping into him, but they slap his hand away and glare at him like he is a disgusting pest. They take Tsaru away with that, but she keeps looking back at Renter, who also can't stop staring at her. After that, the boys head to the market, and Yamami is even more pissed now. Renter, on the other hand, wonders if Tsaru really came to see him. He gets confused and happy at the same time as he entertains this thought. And when his friends turn back, they tell him that he looks more scary than ever now. Anyway, they soon reach a karaoke place, and while Yusami sings, Renter tries to pick a song. Seeing him lost in thoughts for too long, the perceptive Saku asks if anything happened recently. Renter suddenly starts feeling guilty and conscious as his friends stare at him for answers, and he debates if he should tell them Tsaru or keep everything a secret. He thinks that his friends will judge him for being close to a girl from Kiko, so he decides to hide everything from them and says that he is completely fine. While Yusami and I believe him, Saka's doubts become even stronger. Later, Renter heads home, and he is surprised to see the cake shop still open way past its opening time. As soon as he enters the shop, he finds Tsaru waiting for him, and she looks a bit nervous to face him. Renter is even more nervous now, and he asks her what she is doing here at this time. Kaoru suddenly apologizes to him for causing a scene earlier today because underestimated the hatred between their schools. Renter tells her that it doesn't bother him at all, and just then, his mom comes outside, scolding him for not even leaving a message that he would be late. She says that Saru was waiting for him all this time without knowing when he will be back, and Renter is surprised to hear that. His mom then offers Saru to stay a bit longer so that she can pack some leftover cake for her. Saru says that she is full, but her stomach says that it is empty, and both Renter and his mom start laughing at that. She gets embarrassed, but then Renter asks her if she would like to eat cake together with him. She decides to stay after all, and Renter notices that she looks the happiest when she is eating. Kaoru then apologizes for the incident earlier again, but Renter tells her that it is no big deal. He asks her why did she come there anyway, and she replies that she wanted to see him. His heart skips a beat on hearing this, and he apologizes for his Yuzami's behavior. He blurts out that he was a bit too late in coming out to stop him because he was too happy to see her, but immediately gets conscious and embarrassed after saying this. He decides to take his words back, but Kaoru quickly tells him that she won't allow him, and both of them get too flustered to even look at each other. They keep eating the cake nervously while Renter says that he thought she wouldn't come to the store ever again. Saru suddenly sobers up on hearing that and asks why he thought that. He replies that it was only natural to think that because they are from enemy schools and she wouldn't want to hang out with him anymore. Saru gets really sad on hearing this and says that she was happy when she found out that he studied at Chidori High. Renter can't even process what she just said, and then Kaoru suddenly gets up to leave. He calls her name, and she turns back at the door saying that when she found that he studied at Chidori, she thought she would see him more often and know about him. She turns awfully sad after saying that and leaves the store immediately. Renter is utterly confused now, and as he wonders why Kaoru looked so sad in the end, his mom arrives there. She asks him if Saru has already left, and when he turns around to face her, even she gets scared of his ghastly face. She immediately takes him to the living room to learn more about the issue and then hits her son's head with a lethal finger flick, telling him that he should have been a better man and ran after Saru the moment she left the store. She tells him to go after her right now to make sure she reaches home safely, but Renter is weighed down by his thoughts. He asks his mom what Saru meant when she said she was happy to meet him, and she is disgusted at his inability to understand such a clear hint. Renter then asks her why would Saru want to meet her even when she is from Kiko, and the woman loses her cool at this. She tells Renter that he has always hated being judged based on his appearances, but now he is doing the same thing to Saru. She reminds him that Saru didn't change her attitude towards him even when she got to know he was from Chidori, but he has been bringing up her school and everything. Renter finally realizes his mistake on hearing this, and he punches himself to vent out his frustration. The next morning, as Kaoru reaches her school, still depressed from the incidents of last night, she is shocked to see Renter waiting for her at the school gate. She asks him what is he doing here, and he immediately apologizes for hurting her feelings yesterday. Saru suddenly bundles up on hearing this, feeling embarrassed that he made him worry about her, and Renter tells her that it is all his fault. She tells him that he is too kind, and Renter decides to be honest with her because she has always been honest with him. He says that he subconsciously tried pushing her away because he thought that being close to him would hurt her, especially given the hatred between their schools. However, he is no longer going to focus on that and focus on her instead. Saru feels really happy on hearing that, and she gets up telling Renter that she is fine now. She tells him that their schools and backgrounds don't matter anymore, and she wants to know more about him as a person. They exchange numbers with that and keep texting each other as they head to their classes. No one else has arrived at school yet, so Saru decides to open the curtains to see Renter from her classroom. As soon as she sees him, she starts jumping in joy, and he feels a very strong urge to get closer to her and know more about her. A couple weeks later, summer arrives, and frustrated by the heat, Yusami suggests Renter that they should head to the staff room to sit in AC. On the way, Yuzami begins yapping about how bored he is, but then he suddenly remembers that the sports festival is going to be held soon, and they both should aim for the top. However, just as they reach the staff room, a teacher tells them that they both can't take part in the sports meet, and Yuzami feels his dream shattering in front of him. He lashes out at the teacher, asking why they can't participate in the sports festival, and the teacher reminds him that students who fail their midterms have to take a supplementary exam around the same time as the sports festival. Yuzami tells the teacher that the midterms are yet to start, and he can't be so sure that they will fail. But when the teacher asks him if he is confident to pass, he clearly says that he is confident that he will fail. The teacher wasn't expecting anything better, but then Yuzami begs him to give him some sort of incentive to pass the test. He tells him that if he passes the exam and then wins at the sports festival, he will treat him to ice cream. However, the motivation Yuzami gets from that is short-lived, and by the time he reaches class, he is panicking again. He begs Saku to help him out because he is the only one with more than 3 brain cells in their group. Saku refuses because last year he wrecked his brain while teaching Yuzami, who still failed. While they are arguing in a corner, Ayato goes to check up on Renter, who is also confident that he has no chance to pass. Ayato tells him to convince Saku to teach him somehow. But just then, Yuzami flips. He says that Saku doesn't want to teach them because he wants to keep them out of the sports festival, but they will pass even without his help. Saku is completely fine with that, and Renter is the one who feels hopeless now that he is not going to teach them. Just then, he gets a text from his mom asking him to invite Kaoru to their shop because they have a discount day today. Renter realizes that Saru has not visited them for quite some time, and he thinks that she must have run out of her pocket money. Later, as the class starts, Renter's full attention is on his smartphone as he wonders if he should really text Saru. He somehow gathers the courage to invite her to the shop, but she doesn't reply, and he spends all his time at school waiting for her to even see the text. Only when the classes end does he begin to think that girls at Kiko might not be allowed to use their phones during class. Luckily, he gets a message from Saru soon and she apologizes because she is too busy this month to come to the cake shop. Renter feels disappointed on hearing her response, but then Yuzami slams his hands on the table telling him that they are going to the city library to study. Renter follows him pretty confident that Yuzami is going this far just to avoid Saku. They sit down to study and Yuzami realizes really quickly that he is completely hopeless because he can't solve a single question. Renter tells him that they should beg Saku for help after all because he is the only one who can teach them. However, Yuzami feels too guilty to approach him because he failed despite being taught by Saku last year. He believes that Saku doesn't want to teach him either, but Renter says that he is just playing hard to get. He convinces Yuzami to go back and apologize to Saku, and then tries focusing on his questions. Suddenly, he notices 2 girls walking around awkwardly because they can't find an empty table, and Renter decides to give up his seat for them. As he walks down the library, he suddenly hears Kaoru's voice and goes to see if it is really her. To his surprise, he finds Kaoru studying for her exams while helping a friend. He gasps on seeing her, but then quickly hides before Kaoru or her friend can notice him. He now realizes that she has been too busy with studies to come to the shop, and that makes sense because she goes to a much better school than him. He keeps on overhearing the conversation, learning that Saru likes to doodle on her notebooks while taking breaks, and that she is the school topper. Renter suddenly realizes the gap between them and heads outside, thinking that Kaoru is really amazing because she stands at the top of Kiko where all students are smart. On the other hand, he is a failure from a school of losers. He decides to take a nap because there is no way studying is going to benefit him. But just as he opens his eyes, he finds Saru looking at him. Renter freaks out on seeing her and asks what is she doing here. But Kaoru is excited to see him again. She tells him that she saw a glimpse of him while he was passing, so she decided to take a break and talk to him. Renter gets up and makes space for her, and Kaoru asks him if he came to the library to study as well, to which he nervously affirms. After that, Kaoru apologizes for refusing his invitation to come to his shop, and he tells her that it is no big deal because they have a discount day each month. She replies that she will keep her calendar free next week and also gather enough money from her part-time job by then. Renter is shocked to hear that Kaoru has a part-time job because he always thought that she came from a rich family. Saru just laughs on hearing that and tells him that she is not rich. She got into Kiko because of a scholarship, and she has been clinging to the #1 position there to make sure that she continues receiving the scholarship. She begins talking about how hard has it been to study all day long recently, and she has to pinch herself to stay awake during the class. Renter asks her why is she going so far, and she replies that she pleaded with her dad to send her to Kiko despite coming from a middle-class family, and he agreed. Now she wants to work hard and prove that she was worthy of this opportunity, and she is proud of what she has accomplished till now. Renter suddenly realizes that he was judging Kaoru without knowing anything about her yet again, and he feels ashamed of it. However, he works up the courage and requests Kaoru to teach him because he doesn't want to fail this year, especially for the sake of his friends. He suddenly realizes that it is too much to ask for because Kaoru is already busy, but she offers him a rice cake saying that she will make some time for him. After that, Kaoru decides to return to her friend and tells Renter that she has another friend studying with her right now, but she went to buy something. Just then, her other friend, Subaru, arrives there, and everything about her screams. She asks Tsaru what is she doing with a boy, and then glances coldly at Renter, asking if he is from Chidori. He affirms, and Subaru immediately tells him to stay away from Kaoru because she doesn't want his stupidity to rub on her. She then tells Kaoru that they should head back and she will always protect her. Tsaru tries to explain things, but just then Uzami arrives there with his friends. As soon as they see the girls from Kiko, their mood turns sour and Subaru is also pissed, saying that more animals have come here. Uzami quickly goes to confront her, asking what the hell are two girls from Kiko doing with Pharaoh because he wouldn't approach them. Subaru doesn't even pay them any mind and says they should head back. But then Uzami notices that he has seen Kuro before. He gets closer to take a better look, and immediately both Renter and Subaru spring up, trying to keep them away for different reasons. While Renter just got jealous of another guy getting closer to Kuro, Subaru is fiercely overprotective of the girl. But she gets confused about why Renter would try to save her too. Uzami is the most confused one because he wasn't doing anything, but Subaru decides to get away from the place quickly. However, Sokka picks up the fight where Uzami left and asks her to answer what she was doing with Renter just now. He says that even girls from Kiko can be dumb enough to not understand a question, and then gets even more personal, asking her about her weird-ass hair color. He says that her school must permit dyeing her hair because she is just a spoiled rich princess, and those words hurt Subaru. Saru tries to speak up for her, but Rentaro beats her to that, asking Sokka to stop, because he is not the guy to act mean to someone without any reason. He then reminds his friends that Saru was the girl who was waiting outside their school a few days ago, and he spotted her at the library. He says that he approached her to apologize for scaring her that day, so it is not her fault that she was with him. The boys suddenly remember that, and then Ayato reminds Uzami that he was the one who actually scared Kuro. Uzami immediately walks towards her, and Subaru enters her overprotective mode again. But then Uzami apologizes to Tsaru for being rude to her just because she is from Kiko. In response, Kaoru bows down to apologize to him for causing the disturbance that day, and Subaru panics because she doesn't want anyone to see a Kiko student apologizing to a Chidori student. However, Kaoru asks her to apologize as well because she was rude just now. But Subaru's pride doesn't allow her to do that, and she simply walks away. Saru apologizes once again as she rushes after her friend. But now Uzami and others are confused about the real nature of Kiko girls. They think that Subaru is but they have got Saku on their side who was able to talk her down. They say that he did it for their sake, and Saku gets embarrassed saying that it is their fault for not being able to stand up for themselves. On the other hand, Kaoru also tells Subaru that she should have behaved better even though she has trouble dealing with men. Like any modern feminist, Subaru replies that all men are wild animals and those from Chidori are even worse. However, she is curious about Renter because he stood up for her, and she asks Kaoru about him. Kaoru blushes as she says that he is a very kind person, but Subaru gets lost in her thoughts and doesn't hear the rest. Later that night, Renter is trying his best to revise what Sokka taught them earlier, but he can't make any progress. Suddenly, he gets a text from Kaoru asking if they can talk, and he immediately replies to her. The next moment, he gets a call from Kaoru that he was not ready for, and she also seems quite nervous. She apologizes for Subaru's behavior earlier today, and Renter apologizes on behalf of his friends, too. Kaoru then apologizes that he had to lie for her sake, and says that he looked very cool doing it. Renter starts blushing on hearing that, and he realizes that whenever he has been talking to Kaoru lately, he has not been able to fully understand his emotions. Saru then sets a time and place for their study session, and on realizing that the call is about to end, Renter gets impatient. He tells her that she can drop the formal tone with him and be casual instead, and Kaoru tells him that she will do it the next time. She ends the call with that, and both of them think they are the only ones who feel flustered and embarrassed after the call. Soon the day of their joint study session arrives, and Renter wakes up early in the morning even without any alarm. He stares at the messages he exchanged with Kaoru repeatedly, and that is the cause of half his screen time in the recent days. After that, he gets on a train to go to their meeting spot, and though he appears calm outside, his mind is a mess. He can't believe that he is meeting Saru on a weekend, and he wonders if he is wearing the right clothes for the occasion. He arrives at the destination much earlier than they had planned and wonders how he should pass the time till then. But to his surprise, Saru is already there as well, and she seems overdressed for a simple study session. Renter apologizes for making her wait, and she tells him that she arrived a bit early because she was too nervous. He tells her that he is the same, and then suddenly he gets flustered because Kaoru looks cuter than usual today. They go to a nearby cafe after that to eat before studying, and Kaoru says that she always wanted to try out this place. Renter is once again reminded how much she enjoys eating, and he keeps glancing at her from time to time. After they are done eating, Saru starts the study session and asks Rinter what subject should they cover first. He tells her that he needs the most help with math because he can probably manage other things. He shows her the questions he is having problem with. And as Kaoru leans in to see them, they both realize that they are too close to each other. They immediately back away and get super flustered about it. But then Kaoru starts telling Rinter how to solve the questions. But he finds it really hard to concentrate on studies because of how fast his heart is beating. Anyway, they continue their study session and Kaoru asks Rinter why is he so determined because she remembers that he doesn't want to fail this year at any cost. He tells her that there is a sports festival after the exams, and if he can't pass the exams, he won't be able to participate in that. He really wants to take part in the sports festival with his friends. Even though he knows that it is a lame reason to study hard, Saru tells him that it is not a lame reason at all, and then remarks that Rinter must really love his friends. He almost spits water on hearing this, and says that he won't go as far as to say that he loves those morons. However, Kaoru believes that he is just being shy. She tells him that she loves her friends a lot, especially Subaru, who has been close to her ever since childhood. She explains that Subaru had some issues with boys in the past, and that makes her seem like a but in reality, she is a really kind person. She thanks Rinter not for judging her when he met her earlier, and he feels really happy on hearing that. They resume their study session with that, and the evening soon arrives. They decide to go home, and Rinter thanks Saru for helping him out. But she has another surprise for him. She gives him a notebook with an elaborate study plan and important questions that can come in his exam. Rinter is stunned to read it, and he tells Saru that she didn't need to go out of her way to do this for him when she has her own exams to worry about. She tells him that it is fine, and she did it because she wants him to pass. She asks him to have fun at the sports festival with his friends and then tell her all the stories about it. She leaves with that, and Rinter is sure that with her notes, he won't fail. He decides to head home as well, when suddenly someone grabs him from behind. He turns around to find that it is Subaru who tells him that she needs to talk to him. Rinter follows her to a cafe, but she doesn't speak anything and instead silently sips her coffee. He is confused now and wonders what does she even want from him. Suddenly, she asks him if he is Kaoru's boyfriend, and Rinter spills his coffee on his hands. Subaru offers him her handkerchief to wipe it off, and he accepts it, even though he can't understand why is she behaving so differently compared to the last time. After that, they introduce themselves to each other, and Subaru repeats her question about Rinter being Kaoru's boyfriend. He gets flustered and tells her that they are not dating, and Subaru asks him to describe their relationship to her. In that case, Rinter gets confused about what to say because he is not sure if he and Saru are technically friends yet. Subaru then asks him if they met recently, and once he affirms, she tells him to stop meeting Saru after today. Rinter is shocked to hear this and asks her if it is because he is from Chidori. She affirms, and he tells her that even though their schools hate each other, it has nothing to do with him as a person. Subaru tells him that she believes him, and she also realizes that he is not a bad person. She apologizes for saying bad things to him and his friends the other day at the library, but she hates men, so she can't help it. She then tells Rinter that the teachers at Kiko hate Chidori even more than the students. And if they found out that their top student, Saru, is hanging out with a boy from Chidori, they might do some really stupid and hateful things. That is why she doesn't want him to get involved with Kaoru ever again. Just then a boy enters the cafe with his mom, and as he is running around, he trips near Rinter's table. Rinter and Subaru get up to help him at the same time, and Subaru reaches the boy first because she is close. She helps him get up and returns his toy to him, and then the boy suddenly remarks that her hair color looks super pretty. As the boy leaves, Subaru tells Rinter that Saru said the same thing about her hair when they first met. She still vividly remembers how boys used to bully her for having a unique hair color. But one day, Saru saved her from them and told her that her hair was really pretty. She became her hero and friend ever since that day, and now she wants to protect her. Subaru suddenly explodes with emotions, telling Rinter that he doesn't know anything about Saru and how hard she has worked to achieve what she is right now. She doesn't want all of it to be taken away from her because she is kind to a boy from Chidori. She knows that it is not the right thing, and Kaoru might never forgive her for it, but she wants to protect her present happiness at all costs. Subaru once again begs Rinter to stay away from Saru, and he begins thinking about how their schools hate each other. He knows that Subaru is being as sincere as she can, but then Saru's face pops up in his mind, smiling at him as she says that she doesn't care about anything else, and she just wants to know more about him. Rinter apologizes to Subaru, saying that he cannot do as she says, and she quietly accepts his decision. She already knew in her heart that Rinter wouldn't give up on Kaoru, just like she won't give up on him. Rinter leaves soon after that, and Subaru stays back, wondering what is she even doing. Meanwhile, he gets on the train and tries to study using Kyoru's notes, but he can't focus at all. He lets out a dissatisfied sigh, and the boys sitting near him panic, wondering if they pissed off the scary-looking guy. However, Rinter is just thinking how different Subaru was from what he imagined, and he wonders if he can be so sincere for someone else's sake as well. Just then, the train stops at the next station, and two girls climb in. They look for seats, but every seat is occupied, and only one seat is left next to Rinter. He gets up to offer his seat to them, and the girls immediately recognize him as the guy who gave up his seat at the library for them last week. They approach him and thank him for the other day, and Rinter gradually remembers their faces. He asks them if their study session went well, and the girls get nervous because they are still scared of him. However, he smiles gently at them and wishes them all the best in their studies before walking off, and the girls realize that he is actually really kind. Meanwhile, Rinter is also shocked that the girls gathered the courage to thank him, and that reminds him that Saru also thanks him for the smallest of things. He keeps thinking about how kind she is, and he believes that she must have saved Subaru over and over again. He suddenly starts wondering if he made the right decision by turning down Subaru's request. Soon after that, the exams at Chidori get over, and the teacher hypes up the results. He calls Yamami and Rinter forward and then proudly declares that they didn't fail. The entire class breaks into a celebration on hearing that both of them managed to pass, and Rinter even managed to score above 50 marks. Their friends are taken back by this reaction, but the rest of the class is still not over this literal miracle just yet. One boy interviews Yuzami about how he is feeling, and he replies that he stared at the words so hard that now his eyesight has gotten worse. The boy then asks the same question to Rinter, who tells him that he is happy. Everyone gets emotional on hearing this, and even the teacher starts crying. Yuzami says all the credit goes to Saku for teaching them, and the entire class gathers around him, calling him the MVP of the exams. Meanwhile, Rinter is feeling overjoyed because of the results, and he decides to text Kyoru to share the good news with her. But Subaru's words stop him from messaging her. Just then, the rowdy crowd pushes Saku around, and he accidentally topples Rinter's desk over. As he tries to pick up his things, Saka notices a textbook with a best of luck note from Kyoru, and he asks Rinter, "What does this mean?" Rinter goes completely silent in response to his question, and Saku realizes that something is off. Yuzami also comes there just to learn what is happening, and then Ayato picks up the notebook. He reads Kayur's name and asks if it is the same girl that they met the other day, but Rinter snatches the notebook away from his hands instantly. However, it is too late for that now because Saku clearly remembers that Subaru called the short girl Kyoru when they met in front of the library. He asks Rinter why does he have a note from her, because that day he said that he just met her by chance and was apologizing for scaring her. The entire class watches them in silence, but thanks to them all being dimwits, they don't understand what is going on. Meanwhile, Saku says that he noticed a change in Rinter's behavior recently, and he was even defending Kiko. He asks him to reveal the truth now, and Rinter apologizes, saying that he doesn't want to talk about it. Saku is hurt by his words, and he is almost about to label him a traitor when their teacher arrives there and tells them to stop wasting time. He tells all the boys to clean the mess they made, and the matter quickly dies out. Yuzami also comes in clutch with a rare moment of emotional maturity, and he drags Saku away while Rinter apologizes to Ayato for startling him earlier. Later that day, as he reaches home, Rinterero realizes that he screwed up by mixing up Kyoru's notes with his textbooks. Speaking of that, he remembers that he needs to thank Saru and immediately texts her. Kaoru is surprised to receive a text during her study session, and she gets really happy on learning that Rinter passed with decent marks. She congratulates him and then asks him to enjoy the sports festival with his friends, but he doesn't reply to her text as Subaru's words pop up in his mind. Sayaru, however, is just happy that he read her text, and she wonders what events will he take part in. The next day at school, Yuzami and I find themselves in a dilemma because there seems to be a cold war between Rinter and Saku. Yuzami thinks that Saku must be at fault because he picked a fight with him earlier, and now it is Rinter's turn. Well, Ayato reminds Yuzami that Rinter acted as the mediator in their fight, and now it is his turn to do the same. Yuzami nervously accepts that responsibility and tries inviting both of them to the baseball nets for practice later, but they tell him that they have got plans and refuse his invitation. Yuzami's confidence shatters with that, and he says that they might not enjoy the sports festival together after all. After school, Saku walks back home alone when suddenly Iami ambush him, telling him that he should talk to them about what is going on in his head. Saku tells them that he is just pissed and walks away, but they keep following him. him. Ayato asks him if he can't tolerate Rinter getting associated with Kikyo, and Sokka denies that. The thing that is bothering him is that Rinter doesn't trust them at all. This surprises both the boys, and Uzami pats him on the back, saying that he never knew that their group's emo icon had emotions, too. Saku just apologizes for acting cold all the time, and this shocks them even further. He then says that the only reason he could fit in the rowdy atmosphere at Chidori was because of Rinter, and he just wants to help him if there is something going on in his life. Uzami replies that Rinter does a lot of things that make other people grateful to him, but he probably never realizes them, which is why he doesn't understand Saku's true feelings. Ayato also reminds Saku that earlier Rinter said that he didn't want to talk about the matter rather than brushing it aside by saying that it was nothing. He believes that is proof of Rinterero changing a bit, and says that it made him happy because Rinterero didn't hide the fact that something was bothering him. I says that Rinter will tell them everything when he is ready, and they should just be friends as usual till then. Meanwhile, Rinter is helping his mom in the cafe, and she asks him why is he sulking so much. He tells her that it is nothing, and she guesses that he failed another test. When he tells her that he didn't fail in a single subject this time, she is bewildered, and she asks if he cheated in the exams. He gets pissed at this, and then she asks about his highest score. He tells her that he got 59 on one test, and that is the same number by which her heart rate goes up on hearing that. Just then, Saru comes in as a customer, and as his mom greets her, Rinter immediately hides behind the counter unsure about how he will face her. Kyoru asks if they have any cake left because she wants to treat herself for doing well in the midterms. Rinter's mom replies that her son did well on his tests as well, but he signals her to not even gesture that he is here. However, she is not taking orders from him, and she pulls him up immediately telling Karu that he did well in his midterms as well. Saru gets flustered as she sees him, and even Rinter is embarrassed because he didn't want to be exposed like this. His mom, however, calls him an idiot sandwich for not realizing that he was trying to hide behind transparent glass. She then notices the awkwardness between him and Saru and decides to give them some time and privacy to talk it out. She tells Rinter to take Kaoru's order because she has things to do in the kitchen and quickly leaves. Rinter and Kaoru get awkward once they are left alone, and she says that she will give her order in a minute. But before that, she wants to give him a high five. Rinter just stares at her hands, awkwardly wondering what is she even doing, and she asks if he has never high-fived anyone in his life. She tells him that this is her way to congratulate on passing his exams and also to wish him all the best for the sports festival. The second part suddenly hurts Rinter as he realizes that he might not have any friends left to enjoy the sports festival with. Anyway, he does a soft high five with Saru, but she notices the sad look on his face. Once he is done packing her order, he offers to walk her to the station, but she tells him that she will be fine on her own. She then suddenly tells him that whenever she is feeling down, she eats a lot, and that helps her feel better, and maybe he should try it too. She suddenly starts rambling about how she eats a lot, and that gives her energy too. And in that ranting, she forgets what she was trying to say. Rinter bursts out laughing on hearing this, and Kaoru smiles because she is happy that she made him feel better. Seeing her smile sets off fireworks in Rinter's heart, and once she leaves, he realizes that meeting her gave him the clarity he has been seeking. He thinks that Saru is really amazing, and then remembers how he knew that Subaru was right when she asked him not to meet her again. However, the words came out of his mouth before he could even think properly, and he refused her request. He thinks that Kailaru is a wonderful person who he deeply respects, but those words are no longer enough to describe what he feels about her. On the other hand, Kaoru is also pleased that she got to meet Rinter, and on top of that, she got to see him laugh wholeheartedly. She thinks that he looked a bit cute, but then she remembers that he looked troubled and didn't even reply to her text earlier. So maybe she should have asked him if he was feeling okay. Just then, she gets a text and her eyes widen in surprise on reading it. Back at Rinter's place, his mom prepares dinner early to celebrate him passing the exams, and she can't believe that he actually scored 59 marks. She says that she is happy for him, and he gets conscious, telling her that he barely avoided failing, which is nothing to be happy about. She replies that she has noticed him working harder recently, and then recalls how he has given up on a lot of things since he was young, but this time he didn't. She says that she is more happy about that than him not failing, and she hopes to continue working hard no matter what motivates him. On the other hand, Geiru goes to meet with Subaru in a park as per the text she received. Subaru asks her if she went somewhere after school because she is dressed up, and she just shakes it off as a little outing. Suddenly, Saru notices that this is the same park where they used used to play in childhood. As she takes a stroll around it, she asks Subaru what was so urgent that she called her here to talk about it, because they could have talked at school the next day. Subaru replies that they couldn't talk at school because it concerns Renter. Kaoru is curious now, and then Subaru suddenly tells her that she met Rentorero the other day and told him to leave her alone. Subaru remembers the time from their childhood when Kaoru fell from the monkey bars. She was fine, but Subaru started crying because she was worried about her. And in the end, Kaoru had to console her. Now, Subaru thinks that she wanted to become as strong and kind as Kaoru, but her actions might have hurt her. She then explains that she saw her with Renter in the market the other day through sheer coincidence, but then she couldn't help her curiosity. As soon as Kaoru left, she approached Renter and asked him not to see her again. Subaru then apologizes to Kaoru, saying that she was being really selfish and did something that she should not have. But Kaoru replies that she is more surprised by her sudden apology. She knows that Subaru did that to protect her because she knows about the enmity between their schools. She calls her kind and apologizes for causing her all this trouble. Subaru feels hurt on hearing this because Kaoru has no reason to be sorry. Ever since she met Renner the other day, she has been really conscious and worried that he might have told Kaoru. That is why she was stressed and distant from her friends. But then she realized that Renter had not told Kaoru anything, and he probably never would. Subaru felt that Saru won't hate her if she didn't know the truth. But her guilty conscience didn't let her stay at peace, and she eventually texted Kaoru to get this thing off her chest. However, even when she tried to admit her fault, it was Kaoru who apologized to her, and that makes her feel even worse. She begins to cry, thinking that she is the same old coward from childhood and she can never be like her hero. She hates herself and hides her face. But then Saru pulls her hands apart, telling her not to cry. She suddenly smiles at her and suggests they return back to the past, and the very next moment, she climbs the monkey bars. Subaru is too dumbfounded by this to even react properly, and she only tells Kaoru that her clothes will get dirty. Saru replies that in the past their clothes used to get dirty daily when they played in the park, and her mom used to scold her when she went home. She suddenly asks Subaru if she remembers the time she fell from the monkey bars, and she does remember. Saru says that it hurt a lot when she fell, but then Subaru started crying, asking her to transfer all of her pain to her. Subaru gets embarrassed on being reminded of that, but Kaoru tells her that her words shocked her so much that she completely forgot about the pain. She says that Subaru was a kind girl even back then, but she refuses, claiming that she is not kind at all. Saru gets pissed at this and throws a cute little tantrum, telling Subaru that it is not fair that she always says bad things about herself. Kaoru reminds her that she has been the only one by her side ever since they were kids, and she has always helped her when she needed it. She says that Subaru is an amazing person and she is ready to repeat this as many times as it takes to shake off her low self-esteem. Saru's words leave Subaru rattled, but she realizes that she has always been like that. Even when they first met, she openly said how beautiful her hair was. She realizes that she must live up to her expectations and become better instead of just cursing herself. Subaru decides to start by hugging Kaoru and then telling her details about her conversation with Renter. She says that she told Renter that Saru was a scholarship student at Kiko and she could get in trouble if she was seen with him. However, she should have asked Kaoru about it first to know what she wanted. Saru shyly replies that she wants to keep seeing Renter, and then Subaru asks her if she likes him. Saru comes clean with her feelings and admits that she likes Rentorero a lot, and that is enough for Subaru. She then tells her that when she asked him to stop seeing her, his answer was the same. He apologized to her, but said that he wanted to keep meeting Kaoru and get to know her better. Saru starts blushing on hearing that, and Subaru smiles through her tears on seeing this. She then admits that despite the brave act she put on right now, she is still a coward who can't love herself. However, she can't also let down Kaoru, and that is why she will stay by her side, and hopefully someday, she will be worthy of her friendship and love. With that, they head home together and Kaoru says that it was refreshing to see the crybaby Subaru again. Subaru gets flustered at this, but then suddenly Kaoru stops in her tracks as she gets a text from Renter saying that he wants to ask her something. On the other hand, Renter is freaking out as well because he didn't think he had the guts to reply to Kaoru's message after such a long time. He feels that he should talk to Subaru once again to calm down his mind and detach himself from Kaoru, but he doesn't have her contact details. He can only ask Kaoru for that, which is even more problematic because Subaru wouldn't want Saru to know that they talked behind her back. As he is fidgeting about what to do, he gets a call from Kaoru that makes him spring to his feet immediately. He is not mentally ready to pick up the call, but he does it anyway. And on the other side, Kaoru is equally flustered. Before he can ask her why she called, Rinter apologizes to her for leaving her on read all this time. Saru tells him that it is fine because she also forgets that sometimes. She then asks him what he wanted to know, and Rinter nervously tells her that he wanted to talk to Subaru about something. He grows hesitant as he tries to come up with a reason, but Kaoru giggles and tells him that Subaru is right next to her and she will give her the phone. Rinter panics on hearing this, and then Kaoru hands over the phone to her. She coldly asks him what does he want, and he replies that he wants to talk about their discussion at the cafe earlier. Subaru tells him to meet her after school the next day, and Rinter goes to the park where she is waiting for him. He first asks her if it is fine for her to meet him while wearing her school uniform, and she coldly tells him that it is not a problem. She thanks him for his concern and asks what he wanted to talk about. Rinter asks her what he needs to do to earn her approval and meet Kaoru, and Subaru reminds her that she is not Kaoru's mom. He tells her that during their last meeting he understood that she had a point, but despite that, he wanted to keep meeting Kaoru. However, he doesn't want to cause trouble for her either, and he feels that Subaru is the one who can tell him the way to solve his dilemma. Subaru is shocked to hear that, but she tells him that there is no need to ask her anything. She reminds Rinter that her request was a selfish one, and he turned her down that day. She thinks that he should be angry at her after all the mean things she said to him the other day. But Rinter says that he is not angry at all. He knows that Subaru cares a lot about Saru, and that made him respect her. He wants to know her answer because he wants to be assured that meeting Kaoru won't harm her in any way. Rinter bows down to her requesting her help, and Subaru realizes that he is too kind for his own good. She feels like an idiot for treating him badly all this time, and then tells him that she told Kaoru everything about their meeting last night. Rinter panics on hearing this, and asks her for the details because he wants to know if she told Kaoru his response too. Subaru ignores his question completely, and then tells him that it is fine as long as he meets Kaoru far away from their schools. Rinter is glad to hear this, when suddenly a flying soccer ball hits him in the chest. He falls to the ground because of the impact, and just then a boy comes running there to apologize. It turns out to be the same boy from the cafe they visited, and he recognizes Rinter and Subaru. He says they must be really good friends because he has seen them twice together, and they immediately tell him that they are not friends. The boy doesn't believe them because they look like friends. Just then his friends call him, and he runs back to them, leaving Rinter and Subaru confused. They agree that they are far away from being friends. But Subaru thinks that one day, when she is able to love herself, she would like to be Rinter's friend. He is taken aback by this, and starts crawling backwards thinking that something has possessed Subaru. He asks her how can she want to be friends with him when he is from Chidori, and she tells him that it doesn't make a difference. Rinter is even more shocked by this, and asks her if something happened, and in response Subaru just smiles and tells him that it is a secret. Later that night, as Rinter lies in his bed, he sees that his friend's WhatsApp group has been silent recently. He knows that it is his fault for keeping a secret from them. But just as he is starting to pity himself, he gets a message from Kaoru asking if he was able to meet Subaru. Rinter replies that he met her, and then apologizes for not telling her about meeting Subaru at the cafe the other day. Saru also apologizes for making him worry, but then she says that she is low-key happy that Subaru knows about them. Reading her message makes Rinter realize that he will also be at ease if his friends know about him and Saru. So he makes up his mind to talk to them soon. The next day at school, Yazami tells Saku and I something is definitely wrong with Rinter today. They ask him what he means, and he tells him to just look at him playing baseball. He is completely zoned out and can't even see the ball. He misses the first swing, and on the second pitch, he gets hit in the ribs and falls on the ground. Usami says that Rino might be a borderline student when it comes to studies, but he is never this clumsy in sports. He adds that Rino was acting weird in the classroom as well, fidgeting the entire time and distracting him. He tried asking him if he had something on his mind, and he nervously refused, which made him even more suspicious. That is why Yazami decides to stalk Rinter to find out what really is bothering him. He takes Saku and Io along as well, but Saku is not really comfortable stalking someone in the broad daylight. Ayato tells him that he just needs to apologize to Rinter for the other day and everything will be solved, but he has no idea how to start the conversation. Anyway, they keep following Rinter as he goes far away from the school. And then at a park, Saru and Subaru come to meet him. This is the biggest shock for the three boys, but Rinteru hasn't even noticed them yet. He goes to a cafe with the two girls and apologizes for calling them to meet him again and again. Saru immediately replies that she is glad to meet him so many times, but she gets shy and freezes mid-sentence. Subaru is dumbfounded on seeing how obviously Saru is crazy for Rinter, but she doesn't notice the evil aura of jealousy and hatred rising behind their table. It is coming from Yuzami, who is jealous that Renter is flirting with a girl, but the chill guy is wondering what to order. Saku, on the other hand, is panicking because these two morons are too loud and they will get caught at this rate. He thinks that it makes sense for Renter to meet with Sairu because they are apparently close enough. But he doesn't get what Subaru is doing here when she hates Chidori. Just then they hear Subaru speak to Renter, asking what does he want to talk about. Renter first asks them if they remember his 3 friends from the library, and then reveals that he wants to tell them about being friends with 2 girls from Kiko. Subaru is surprised to hear that, and she asks for Renter's reasons. He replies that he doesn't want to keep secrets from his friends. He says that people have always been afraid of his appearance, and they didn't even bother to listen to him, which is why he stopped trying to explain himself. However, he made some friends when he joined Chidori, and they have always been with him since then. He talks about how those buffoons are irreplaceable to him, but he has never been truly open with them. He respects the friendship and trust between Kaoru and Subaru, and he wants that with his friends. He apologizes to the girls, fully aware that his request might cause problems for them, but he desperately wants to tell his friends about them. Kaoru replies that she will be happy if Renter's friends know about her, and Subaru also has no problem. Saru says that she trusts Renter completely, and he can't be friends with bad people, so she will trust his friends too. She says that she wants to be friends with them too and asks Subaru to do the same, which is a bit too much for her to agree to. While Renter gets emotional and thanks the girls, his friends are stunned speechless after hearing this entire ordeal. After that, Renter walks the girls to the station because it is quite dark, and Subaru suddenly asks him to introduce her to his friends someday because she wants to apologize for what happened at the library. Just then, some wannabe gangsters come there and tell Rentero that they have some business with him. Renter doesn't even know the guys. But then Kaoru points towards 2 boys hiding behind a tree. They are the same people who tried to harass her once, and the gang leader is their senior who has come to pick up a fight with Renter for scaring them. Renter tells him that it was a small issue and they should just forget about it.